It's a Philly special up in here on Comic Book Cannon! That's right. For those that don't know the Philly special, where Nick Foles caught a touchdown in Super Bowl 52, leading the Eagles over the New England Patriots. It's a wonderful thing. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because our guest is from Philly. I'm super excited. But somebody who's not from Philly is my good friend, partner in crime, and co-host of The Cannon. That is Christopher. Chris, I'm hyping up the Philly. I'm hyping it up. We got John's up in here. What's up?
It doesn't matter because I am a diehard. I love Nick Foles for life, man. Nick Foles is the dude. The Eagles should have never with him. But
okay, you know what? We're beyond that. And again, this isn't an NFL show. It is Comic Book Canon, where we talk about everything comic books, and we're super psyched to have you guys here. We're super psyched to have our guests here. We got a packed show, fun show. We got fresh from the comic shop. We're working our way through those issues that we've been having with the Instagrams. But why don't we just get into the show and just get into the news? Chris,
Yep.
You have the first news story this evening. What do you got?
Well, folks, it's been that's not. Sorry, I've never done this. I've never done this.
No, you've done this show quite a bit. We've done over 100 episodes.
I've never not had. But I was just so excited. But guys,
we're not talking about Nick Foles. That's exactly what it was.
Nick Foles, you got me. Guys, we got news, and I'm excited as an MCU fan to hear about this news from The Hollywood Reporter. Now, we don't have any official confirmation from Marvel. Hollywood Reporter has announced that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio will be joining the cast of the Echo Disney Plus series, reprising their Daredevil and Kingpin portrayals. This move makes a lot of sense for a couple of reasons. It could absolutely adapt so much of what was going on in the Daredevil Marvel Knight series from the early 2000s that, featured Echo's first appearance and her storyline and origin and all that. The synopsis, though, for Charlie Cox's Daredevil in the show is that he will be seeking out a former ally. And according to popular podcasts, The Weekly, they are believing this ally could be Jessica Jones, which means that Kristen Ritter could reprise her role as the character in the show as well. So I am absolutely loving this. It's bringing these two characters. We saw, obviously, Charlie Cox in No Way Home make his little brief appearance as Matt Murdock. We had Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in Hawkeye. We pretty much assumed after that show that he would show up in the Echo show. Now that we know we have Daredevil coming in, I'm super hyped. And again, I'm not even going to get into the conversation today, Jeff, about, this is, they're continuing the Netflix, series, because that's a whole other conversation. It's the same actors playing the same characters. And I'm just happy to know that they're going to be most likely meeting up again, maybe going head to head in this upcoming series.
I agree 100%. I'm super psyched about this. They're already in the MCU, so having them come back and reprise, actually continue those roles in the MCU proper. Who knows what's going to happen with what the Netflix shows are. I'm excited to see what they do. The Hollywood Reporter is legit in terms of publications, so they're usually right more than they're wrong. So this is something that I think we can probably chalk up as a win for all of us fans. I do see in the comments here that Chris is hard to hear. Chris, I'm hearing you just fine. But if you guys are having issues hearing Chris, please let us know. I only see 2 comments saying so. Please let us know again, because I'll just take the next news story while you guys let us know if Chris is mute, which he's not. However, just listen to my news story. We work hard on this stuff, guys. God. Anyways, moving on from the MCU to the DCEU. That's right. We have a Black Adam update here with the villain not officially confirmed, but I mean, come on, guys. We got some images here from the fine people over at Home of DCEU. They shared what looks to be promotional material for a Sabak figure. This looks awesome to me, I have to say right here. Look at that, is just villainy, you can't get any better than that. About a year ago, Illuminati reported Morgan Kenzari was up for the role of Sabak. Then we got word he was officially cast. But No word as to who he was in the film. Sabak has been in the DC universe since the 40s and has strong connections to Shazam. That's what we like to hear, because hopefully we'll next see Black Adam take on Shazam and others in the DCEU. Here's another great look here at that figure. I'm digging this. 360 comment. Not really. But it could. Finally, we got confirmation Mephisto. That's right.
Finally.
No, that's not true. Also, this is actually surprising to me. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson took to Twitter to announce that Black Adam will indeed screen at San Diego Comic-Con almost 3 months before it's officially released. His tweet: finally, the man in black himself comes home July 23rd, Comic-Con, San Diego, California, Hall H. Wow. Things are starting to move with this. And, Chris and I have said this almost every time. Like, we are psyched about this production. We have been very critical of the DCEU and what they have done. But this right here, I'm a firm believer that we're going to get something great to finally start moving the needle for the DCEU in a more consistent basis. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. We've had a lot of news surrounding this film, over the last few weeks, and it's the same thing. Can't wait to get closer to it. The toy looks amazing. Interesting about this screening, though, because you think about spoilers, and maybe it proves that it's not like the MCU at this point, where so much hinges on something else that's going on over here and over there. So maybe they feel comfortable with it. Just we're looking at this as a standalone movie, and we're doing this as a treat, and it's not anything that's gonna, ruin, the majority of those that are gonna see it in its theatrical release. So, hey man, it also goes to show how much faith they're, I think, putting into this, and how they're really using this film as a catalyst to propel them to that next level, like you were just talking about.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to need to see that. By the way, I adjusted my mic to go lower as well. I don't know if you can hear that. So hopefully that is helping out technically. Okay, technically, Chris, you have the next and final news story of the week. What do we got?
All right, guys, more MCU news. Captain America 4. Finding a director, Nigerian-American director Julius Ona has been named as Captain America 4's director, per an exclusive again from The Hollywood Reporter. Ona will direct, while Falcon and Winter Soldier head writer Malcolm Spellman will return to script the film. Ona was picked by producer J.J. Abrams to direct The Cloverfield Paradox in 2018, which was one of multiple Cloverfield films created by Abrams, one in which I have not seen personally. This particular film was coined a misfire, but Ona still received some acclaim. A lot of people looking his way, really backing him up in what he could do. And then in 2019, he directed the indie drama Loose, starring Tim Roth, Naomi Watts, Octavia Spencer. And that film won him 3 Indie Spirit Awards, including Best Director. So, and again, this is a film that I personally have not seen. I want to watch now. I do believe it's on it's either on Hulu or HBO Max. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to watch this now because now I'm intrigued as an MCU fan and diehard. I want to see what this guy's doing. I can't personally sit and say, oh, this is a great decision. So I don't know, but I am very trusting in what we've seen so far and the precedent that, Marvel with Kevin Feige and even, Disney execs being in the room, making these decisions to get these directors on board. So we know that, Jeff, it's a new age here for Captain America. The first time we're having a Captain America film since fan favorite Chris Evans and, of course, Steve Rogers. You're going to have a lot of naysayers out there saying, oh, nothing's going to be, the MCU isn't going to be as great as it was since Endgame. There's no Steve Rogers. There's no real Captain America. Yeah. Well, as much as I myself can understand that there will never be another Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, but this is the dawning of a new, and I am very, very optimistic about it. And I think Anthony Mackie absolutely has what it takes to make this film, stand at that same level.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it seems to be in this phase right here, just hear me out for a second. In this phase, they're starting to take risks. But if you look all the way back from the beginning of the MCU, it was about taking risks, because this had never been done before. Creating a cinematic universe like this to this extent. Chris and I talk about the production aspects of this, coordinating schedules, getting directors, writers all in the same room to make sure everything fleshes out and can piece together. And this is yet another piece and another risk they're taking with a director that's not as well known, but they have proven us right in terms of being able to get those directors, get the casting right. And a majority of the films and the content that they have released in the MCU, it's been like beyond my wildest imagination. If I told my 10-year-old self what we're the age we live in, I would never, ever, ever have believed it. So again, I think this is a great, a great choice for somebody who's, kind of rooted in the indie world, right? That has been able to produce stories without a high budget to be able to tell an entertaining story. And obviously somebody who's won awards. So I'm excited to see what they got. I'm excited to see Anthony Mackie continuing his role as Captain America. And I'm hoping everybody else, does feel the same way, but I know a lot of people don't. So
I do want to say one more thing to that too, is again, to your point, even with the actors, everyone, like, remember when Thor was cast and they were like wanting some big name, like get Brad Pitt to play Thor, and then they get this guy that has now, dude, nobody else is going to be Thor, Chris Hemsworth all the way. So I think, you can say the same thing for their directors and producers. As well. Absolutely,
100%. And that right there ends the news. Major faux pas on our part, Chris. We didn't say hello to people. I want to start this right here with Gus. Oh my God, you're watching Goku. It is not Goku. Our guest, he picked what he wanted to see on the TV behind us. That's how it works. And you guys have to try and guess. But it's definitely not Goku. I'll give you a look. And that's all I'll give you. All right. But we're going to say hi to Gus. We're going to say hi to Caleb Leland. We're going to say hi to K405. We're going to say hello to Raw Dog Comics. Dan De La Torre is in the house. Lil Raw Femura, hello. 360 Comics, a.k.a. Joe. Raising Elm Comics. Raising Elm. Got to talk. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Nikita Kare. Ganesh Lurker. Spider Dude. Jacob Comics. Who else do we got? Maz's Toy Box. Louis Logics. Matt Labno. So many of you wonderful people. Jordan Nori, I said Goonish Lurker before. Bry Guy, and a lot. Tony Trombetta from EGS Comics.
Also, guys, no Thor spoilers.
Yeah. That's what people talking about. Yeah.
I haven't seen it myself. A lot of people watching haven't seen it. I already see people saying, "Oh, love Thor, love and Thunder, great." Spoiler free, guys. It's not. We'll keep that for another time. Respect those that have not seen the film yet.
I've seen it, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. All right, so moving on. By the way, Goonish Lurker, get better. He's got the COVID as well, but he seems to be doing okay. Again, we just are sending thoughts your way. All right, moving on. We love this. We love getting friends from the community on the show to talk about comics, interact with you people. And this person right here, we got another great guest, Chris, and he's from the Philly area. I just want to mention that. I think I did mention that before. That's right. Our next guest name says it all. Mint Hunter Comics. The man is always on the hunt and takes along you, the viewer, on his journey. But that's not all he's about, because he wants to share his knowledge with the community as well. That's right. Those are the best types of creators, ones who share, and this man shares quite a bit with close to 17,000 followers. Please welcome James, a.k.a. Mint Hunter Comics. How's it going?
Sup, dudes?
Hey.
We're doing great. We're happy to get you here. There's a lot of contract negotiations back and forth, but we finally got you on the show.
Yeah.
We got you that bowl of green M&Ms you asked for. Chris handpicked those M&Ms. You're obviously a Van Halen fan, so... anyways, we're happy to have made this happen. Granted, this could be short-lived for the show because you may get kicked off because it's an interview, right? To see if you could be the guest co-host of the Can. But before we do, if there's anything you want to talk about your channel. By the way, everybody should be following Mint Hunter Comics. Down below, it's the link. It's his name right there, and it's just an easy click right there. Also, follow him on the Instagram as well, at Mint Hunter Comics. But James, tell us, you want to give us a little tease of something that may be coming up this week?
I got something I'm going to tease you guys with. So I'm not going to say too much, and I'm probably going to make a post tomorrow. But I just did like probably the interview of my life. I'm not going to say who it's with, but it's with a major player in the comic industry. The fact that this interview even happened was I was like shaking. We had to like take 5 minutes before the interview started. So, guys, there is a really big interview dropping. I'm like keep almost saying it. It's going to be dropping on my channel on probably Tuesday, I would say. So just subscribe up, man, and stay tuned for a pretty awesome interview.
Now, speaking of subscribing, how many subs do you have right now? The exact number, because this is something we
tell you. It is 17,000. Jeez, when did that happen? 162.
So we're talking 162. If we do not get to 17,172 by the end of the show, well, Chris, what happens?
Let's do it. This is our last show.
We're canceling the canon. If you guys do not sub up, James, aka Mint Hunter Comics, the canon's canceled. So everybody, please sub Mint Hunter up. Get him at least 10 more subs. He needs it. He only has 17,000.
Yeah, that's like nothing.
I know it's pathetic. It really is. But you know what? You're a good person, and we're rooting for you. So that's what it comes down to.
Okay.
All right. Here's the deal. It's time for the interview, and I know your palms are sweating. You're getting a little nervous right here, but we're just gonna get into it. And Chris, I think I'll take the first part here because I want to do kind of a picture association. Right? I'll show you a picture, show you another picture, and you tell me which one. I'm a psychology major. Obviously, if you guys can't tell, shame on you. So we're just going to get right into it. So potato chips. I like me some potato chips, especially potato chips from the region. I'm going to ask you right here, Utz or hers? Let me show you one more time. Utz or hers? James, what's your answer? Excuse me?
Utz.
Well, that was quick. That really was. I mean, if you don't choose hers, I don't know what's wrong with you. Salt and vinegar, hers? Salt and vinegar is the best potato chip out there, Chris. I'm not even joking. I wish you could experience this, Chris.
Okay. I just have to say here, one, I don't eat potato chips, but even if I did, I have never seen either of those brands in my life, so I can't comment. I can't comment on this one.
So you're basically saying, look, I can't say, so you probably should let him back in.
Yeah, probably.
You're lucky, James.
Fun fact, I did not see that those were salt and vinegar. My answer actually would have been different. So here's my deal. I feel like the Utz potato chip is like the ideal picnic American lunch snack. But like hers has the actual best salt and vinegar chips in the world, and I'm a salt and vinegar dude. I don't understand people that don't like salt and vinegar. Like that blows my mind.
I don't trust them.
They just they've never had hers, so maybe we should ship some out.
Actually, I lived in LA for quite a while, and those shops, those Philly cheesesteak shops, because they had to import Amoroso rolls, were the only ones that had the hers in there. So, sorry, I'm getting hit up left and right. Anyways, so all right, so that was a gaffe. It was just a bad start, but you have a little bit more in this interview to go. So why don't we just get into the next question? All right, here we go. Again, picture association. Here we go. Wawa or Sheets? Hold on. Wawa or Sheets?
I ain't never even heard of Sheets.
What is your?
I know Wawa so well. There's like a Wawa University around here somewhere. Like, dude, yeah, I went on a camping trip last summer, and it was like 10 minutes away from frickin' like Wawa University, and that blew our minds. That this is such a Wawa place. There's literally a college right there.
Honestly, I'm moving to where you are. I am moving to where you are. I want to go to that university. I don't want to work at Wawa. I just want to learn about it. So
learn.
Enroll me, please. All right, here we go. This is my last question for you. There's 3 questions I have.
Yeah.
Right now, 1 and 1. That first one was a bump in the road, is what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Eagles or Cowboys? I don't know if you noticed the size in the picture. Eagles, hold on. Or Cowboys? Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Eagles here.
Damn straight you're going with the Eagles.
And for the record, my favorite match is always Eagles versus Cowboys.
Oh, of course.
One of my favorite games of all time. That's like what used to be with basketball, like Cuse versus Duke. It's just like that thing that you need. So
people outside the area don't understand how much we hate the Cowboys. Like, we despise the Cowboys, and for good reason too, because America's team. You have all these Cowboy fans that were never from Dallas, and they haven't won a playoff game, or they've won like 2 playoff games in 20 years. They're pathetic, and we despise them. So, anyways, I agree.
I mean, half of us, if you're from the Jersey or Philly area, you're just brought up to hate the Cowboys, even if you don't even quite understand why.
It's true. Generations of families.
Can I ask both of you a question? Because I'm on the West Coast, obviously as a 49er fan, and we've had our rivalry with the Cowboys. But I got to ask, I've always wondered this. Why are the Cowboys in the Eastern Conference? I don't get it.
I mean, first of all, there was a lot. Why did they have Tampa Bay in when they had the conference with Green Bay, Chicago? Like, the fact that they didn't take Dallas out of the Eastern Conference is because there's such rivalries with those teams, and it used to be the toughest division in football. So, anyways, that's why. All right. So, James, we're moving on here. You did well. 2 out of 3 is. There's a Meatloaf song. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
6.
What's that?
I said 666, number of the beast, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Wear it with pride. Here we go, Chris. What do we got?
All right, James. So I know, you said it's been a while since you maybe dabbled into some baseball, but we're gonna throw you a baseball question.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'd probably say 2002. So yeah, I'll do my best.
Well, okay. So you rock the Phillies. So sometimes see you rocking the Phillies gear in your videos. So I got a Phillies question for you.
Oh God.
We got 2 you could consider them all-time greats. All right. You ready for them? Mike Schmidt.
Go ahead.
Mike Schmidt or Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper.
Well, Jeff, okay, here's the thing. I gotta let Jeff, even though this is my question, Jeff, I'm being a West Coast guy. Bryce Harper, he's been a beast, man. He came on the scene at 19. He's been a beast. Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer. I mean, unique all-around player in his age. Jeff, what do you say here, man? I don't know if I can make a decision on this.
That's what I'd say. But here's the deal, and I understand where he's going with this, because the potential for Bryce Harper to be at that level is there, right? And that's why it's like, it was hard for me to do that because I see what he's saying. However, Mike Schmidt is Mike Schmidt, and he's already ingrained in Philadelphia sports, and shame on him.
True.
So I'm going to I have a soft spot in my heart for Philly area people, and I'm going to bring him back. Chris, you gotta keep me honest with this stuff because I am biased.
Yeah, Jared, I got a kind of a funny story for you, by the way, about that. So for the last couple months, I've been wearing a blue Phillies hat. So everyone in my comments or people randomly will come up to me and talk about Phillies. Do you know the reason I have a Phillies hat?
Ooh, let's hear it.
It's because it's blue, and my dog ate my last blue hat. And that is the only reason why I got the hat. Walked into town one day, they were selling hats. I chose the same color of the hat I just had.
I have to say I watch your videos quite a bit. Recent video, it looks like you have a chunk bitten out of that hat already from your dog.
Yeah, Peach got to the new hat. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to get a new blue hat. Whoever it's gonna be, man. I don't know what sport team it's gonna be next.
Yeah. James, I gotta tell you, man, as somebody that likes to color coordinate, I have never been an Angels fan. I got a Rockies hat. Yeah. I got the only hat that I don't rock is a Dodgers hat, but I have about 20 different teams to color coordinate.
Exactly.
So I hear you. If you love blue, I'm not.
It's about the color, man.
Yep.
All right. This interview is not going probably as well as you wanted it to go, and I'd have to say me too. But let's just move on.
Yeah, really botched that potato chip question. Sorry, buddy.
All right.
It really was upsetting.
These questions next might be the ones to really make or break this. Now, James, you are a musician of sorts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and Jeff and I as well. So we got a round table of musicians. So we got a couple of music questions for you. And again, being from let's see. Yeah, let's do a hip hop question first. We had a little conversation pre-show about, you know, being into some more old school classic hip hop. You might do well with this one. And this is these are two Philly born icons that have been around for a while. All right, here we go. Beanie Siegel or Black Thought of the Roots?
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to stick with the Roots here, I'd say.
Black Thought is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That guy, his freestyle, he's just, honestly, he is a legend. He is absolutely a legend. So Chris and I both actually agree with you on that. So not bad. Not bad. Chris, next music question though. This one
I always say,
divisive. I have a feeling this will be divisive.
Yeah. This is a tough one. But I will say I think Black Thought, I got Black Thought in my top 10 of all time. Probably the most underrated rapper out there. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is so I got a lot of folks from Jersey. I don't know if you're aware, keeping in music, Tupac, huge inspiration on my life, and his family and his crew, the Outlaws, who I was actually humbled to be able to make music with. All of them are from Jersey. And then some of my close friends that I made music with over the years are from Jersey. And I know that, so technically the Philly area, South Jersey, Jeff schooled me pre-show that it's kind of like the same area, right? I didn't know.
North Jersey's New York.
Okay,
that is true. Yeah, like Central Jersey down, we're kind of like, we're very different from South Jersey. Like Mid Jersey's like a whole thing, but yeah, for the most part, interests kind of align.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna go with a couple of Jersey artists here. This might be a tough one. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Bruce Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
You're literally hitting on like the style of music that I actually genuinely dislike the most, which is like overproduced 80s rock. However, all right, there is a clear winner here. I do.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna have to go with the boss. We're gonna go Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, here's the deal. Context in your answer goes a long way, because right now I'm at a loss because I enjoy both of these artists, and I need context from you to be able to move on.
Dude, I am like indie, freaking underground. I have problems with both. Like Bruce Springsteen loves to repeat himself 100 times in a song, and it pisses me off, dude. But Bon Jovi's just like a Ken doll, man. He's in it for the look more than the music. So I don't know. I've always been like the Metallica kid and like, you know, like that sort of thing. So Bon Jovi and like Journey and that stuff never really did it for me. I always needed to go a little more metal, a little more underground in my tastes.
Okay. Again, I am biased, Chris, so it's going to be your call.
All right. So
I have seen Springsteen live, by the way, and all my naysaying, it was a pretty damn good show.
There you go. See, right there, that's one. I mean, was Clarence alive? Sax?
No.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, man. I regret not seeing them when he was alive. But anyways, all right. Yeah. We're moving on.
haven't given you my answer yet.
You're right. You're right. Again, I'm biased.
I
I'm
might completely disagree. Yeah, I might be secretly furious right now.
You're
Yeah,
too,
you must be
so.
Team Bon Jovi.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Now, as much as I love me some Metallica and Megadeth and whatnot. I love me like Def Leppard, Hysteria, one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah,
Slippery When Wet, Slippery When Wet. Come on, man, it's a classic. Now, I get it. I got to say this though, James. I really appreciate as a musician where you're coming from and the technical. I think you're bringing a lot of technical analytics into your answer. And when you talk about the music, I think there, especially if you look at the career, what Bruce Springsteen was able to do and just that passion and rawness that he brings to his music, even though, it may be, a lot of it may be cliche and following that, that pattern to push those hits out and sell records. I can't say the same thing for Bon Jovi, because like you calling him a Ken doll. I mean, he really made great music, even though it was with that big hair band, 80s band stuff. I can't get past really Slippery When Wet with him. After that, it's like I don't care about. So
what you need to understand about Bruce Springsteen, especially in Jersey, despite how big he is, in Jersey, it's still kind of like a cult thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't follow him for an album. You follow him not even for a decade. You're with him for the whole career. You either like him, and meaning like 80% or more of all his songs, or you're like me where it's just like, that's just not the sound I'm really into. Yep. I'm not going to pitch a fit if it's on, but like I'm from Jersey. I can't hate Bruce Springsteen. It's just incorrect.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's fair.
Yep.
I do like Maz's Toy Box's comment. Bon Jovi should also get the win because he has a Superman tattoo. That's true. That's true. Well played. All right, Chris, are we moving on to the last question here?
Okay, last question. And you know what? I think we're kind of softballing him here. There's no. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to this, but James, we know that
this is the second to last question.
Okay.
Oh, you got one more too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One I don't know about. This is a softball question because we know that you like to dabble with some graphic design. So for anybody, and I know we got some folks in the chat that are that have started their own little YouTube channels, and there's a lot of people in the community that watch your channel and have probably learned a lot from you. So the question is, what is the best free or cheap app / program to make YouTube thumbnails?
I actually used to use one for a long time, and I'm on one now that's like $5 a month. And each time it hits the credit card, I'm like, $5. It's so easy that it's like it's called a Canva.
Yeah.
When I used to do is like one of these weird apps that like can't really trust for like Android. I'm pretty sure it's made in Russia. Like that's what I used for the first year. Let me see if I still have this. I don't know if I can recommend it because it might give your phone AIDS. But
right.
By the way, the last question is going to count. Like,
dude, I don't even have it anymore.
Yeah. Canva's a good. I think that's a good. And I hear you on just the $5 cringe, man. Because even there,
$5 cringe. Dude, it's the same thing with my key collector. Monthly. I think that's also like $5. It's like dude, I used to do. Before I did this whole YouTube thing, I used to draw like cartoons and like sometimes just about life, sometimes like political cartoons and stuff. So I like learned how to do all that stuff real quick. And I would literally even draw my own thumbnails and stuff just with these like crappy little apps. So yeah. All
right. I was just wondering that wasn't even a question that counted for your interview here. All right, but this last question weighs this is it. It's do or die. And for this question right here, we had to pay for a guest to ask this question. Everybody, please welcome 360 Comics, aka Joe.
Yo, James.
Oh boy, what's up, buddy?
Disappointed with that Bryce Harper answer, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
You're really gonna have to make up for it.
I don't think you can wear that Phillies hat anymore. No, you know what? No, that's not fair. I saw where you're going.
I'll make it up to you in via comic books. That's the only way I know how.
Yeah, that usually, honestly, that usually works.
Yeah. It's easy.
So I was tasked to create a question, and since mine was the last one, I figure, think about it in school. Usually, you do, when you're taking a test in school, you get the multiple choice, you get the easy ones, the lobs all the way through, and then the end, there's like the word problems on the math test and the open-ended questions, the essay part. So this is going to be more open-ended. I'm not giving you like choices here.
Okay.
And it actually.
I like my tests when there's the little bonus question at the end for 5 extra credit points.
Oh yeah,
those are the best. So, this actually goes along with the last topic of music. And
I knew it would coming from you.
So I want your opinion here.
Death metal.
No. So this is the question about New Jersey, because you are, as you say, a Jersey boy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of bands I really, really like from New Jersey. What is your favorite New Jersey band ever?
He said the Misfits.
Misfits.
Like literally, boom, no hesitation.
Okay, so I had like a tier list in my head, and I actually had to look up, and the only band at the tippy top was Misfits. And for some reason, I thought you were gonna overlook them, and I was gonna give you a thumbs down.
No way. No, dude, I met Jerry Only. He's like into comic books.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
They all are. They're Danzig's logo is originally from the Christ Star comic, and the Misfits logo was in a movie as well as in the comic book before they utilized it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Well, I wanted to thumbs down James on this one so bad, and I thought he was going to overlook the
Tough luck, buddy.
Yeah.
He's
redeemed himself.
He has actually, and he is now an official guest co-host of Comic Book Canon. He's going to join the alumni group with Joe here. Joe's still waiting for his varsity jacket, his Comic Book Canon varsity. It's in the mail. Actually, no, it's not even produced yet. We probably never will produce it, but just know you are entitled to one, Joe. James, you are entitled to one as well if we ever produce them. Joe, thank you so much for coming on here. I could have sworn you were going to kick him off, but did not happen. He redeemed himself. Joe, we'll continue to talk to you in the chat. We appreciate it again. And you are edging your way up to most guest appearances on the Canon.
This is 3, yeah.
Yeah, you are edging your way up. So we will see you
cameo.
Soon.
2 cameo appearances and 1 full appearance.
We will get to that. We'll get to that. Yes, we'll keep track. All right, Joe, thank you so much. Everybody follow 360 Comics. The link is down below. We wanted to keep it a surprise from James, so it's way down below. Anyways, all right, we'll talk to you soon, Joe.
See you guys.
Yeah. All right, man. James, you did it. We learned a lot about you, and we can now talk about comic books. How do you feel about that?
I actually like comic books a great deal, so that works well.
Good. So here we go. Right now, Chris, we're going to get right into your segment, which is the top 10 look back props or flops, where we take a look back at Cover Price's top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of sales data. Chris dissects that list, picks out his 3 most interesting books, and gives you the data as to why. Now, James, just to let everybody know, you are a part of this show, James. You are a guest co-host. It is your show as much as it is ours. We want to hear your opinion. And everybody, we want to hear your opinion too, props or flops on specific issues that Chris brings up. So, Chris, anything else you want to add to that before we get started?
Nah, man, we're ready to roll it.
All right, let's get to the top 10 hottest comics based off of Cover Price's data. Again, it comes out on a Monday. Our show's on a Sunday. That gives it time to breathe for Chris to check out what those books have done in the past week. So here we go. Top 10. And at number 10, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 50, Tyson Hesse, cover B, 1 in 25. At number 9, we have Iron Cat, number 1, the scan variant, 1 in 50. At number 8, we have the Incredible Hulk, 449. Jordan Norrie probably has most issues actually probably has all of the issues produced. At number 7, Black Panther. Number 3, at number 6, 8 Billion Genies. Number 1, the Ryan Brown Curse Words parody, 1 in 25 variant. At number 5, we have 8 Billion Genies. Number 1, Bird City, Trish Forstner, Super Mario 3 cover. Limited to 500, everybody. At number 4, What If Miles Morales, number 4. At number 3, The Spectacular Spider-Man Annual, number 4. Number 2, 8 Billion Genies, number 1. The Jenny Frison and Steve Seeley variant. And at number 1, 8 Billion Genies, number 1.
Wait,
cover A.
didn't
cover
8 Billion Genies come out like 5 or 6 weeks ago? Or
It sure did. It sure did. And then, what's that?
Am I missing something?
Yeah, Amazon optioned it for a movie, but wants to branch it out into other series. So they have big plans for it. Apparently, is what we're hearing. The Hollywood Reporter, I do believe, reported on that specifically.
I actually have a lot of copies of that book. That's dope.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But Chris is going to get into what he thinks about that top 10 list. Chris, what do you got?
All right, guys. So I've been, for you viewers that have been here for a while watching this segment, I looked at this list and I'm going to be quite honest with you all. It was really tough for me to pick out 3 books. As you all know, we are a week out from these books hitting a top 10 list. I do the current week's data myself. I gather it, I collect it, and I show you guys what the book has done in the week after it hitting the top 10, and I compare, and I just could, and then we do the props or flops, right? But as I've been saying over the last few weeks, and I am always an optimist, and I try to be, right? And I'm always one to say there's no right or wrong way to collect comic books. I really try to let people know when they take an approach of flippers are ruining the hobby, speculation's ruining the hobby, variants are ruining the hobby. And I said, no. Do you let other people do that? Anything that brings money into this hobby, more often than not, or more so than not, it is a positive thing. Variants bring money to publishers. It brings work to artists if there's 20 or 30 variants on a one issue, even though it may seem like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Speculating and flipping has been a part of the hobby for over 50 years now, even though it's changed and evolved over the years, even though it's heightened with the instantaneous information, with social media and the internet and all this stuff. But I've been looking at these lists more often, and then we've been looking at, props or flops, and I've been having conversations with you, Jeff, and with our guests and with our viewers about, what are we basing a props on? What are we basing a flops on? And I have to really break it down to everyone to explain, look, this is not a shopping list. Once these books hit this list, it's not a shopping list. So I felt like every book that I was giving props to, people were seeing that and saying, oh, I'm going to go buy this book now. Yeah. So I have to be really careful and really try to gauge, like, what am I giving this book props for? And I just looked at this list, and I've been saying this for the past few weeks as well. These lists, especially this year, we've been doing this segment. We've been looking at the cover prices data for 2 years now. Yeah. And it's gotten more and more week to week that the same 3 things are making this list, and that's optioned, movie spec, whether based on rumor or, the official word, and incentive variants. And that's it. And let's pull up the top 10 and let's look at this. I mean, every single book on this list is incentive, option, or movie spec. 4 of them are one book. 4 of them are the 8 Billion Genies with cover A, and then 3 other incentive variants, right? And then you have a Marvel movie spec for the most part, and then 8 Billion Genies was option. And James, that's why it made the list here. Yeah, like a month and a half or 2 months almost, after its initial release. So while I'm not, and I'm going to talk about some books still, I am, guys. But if I have to give this list props or flops, Jeff and James, I'm giving the whole list a big fat flops. Flops. I'm giving the whole list flops because again, I can't keep repeating myself and breaking this down in the same way because it's the same thing over and over. And to be quite honest with you guys, I'm just kind of burnt out on it. And we're going to talk about a few books here still. And of course, I want James and Jeff, both of you, to give your insight. So the ones that I wanted to pick out here are, let's talk about 8 Billion Genies first. And like I said, you had four covers, 4 variants for issue number 1.
And cover A still looks the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. And to James's question, are we missing something here? This book came out in May. Why is it hitting the list now? Well, because, just this last week, we got an announcement that it's optioned for Amazon for a feature film. This is an 8-part miniseries from Image that they want to create this expanded universe on. And what did I talk about last week when we talked about some of those, the Scout comic, and there was another one that got optioned? This might not even happen, because it happens all the time with these indies that get optioned. This may not happen. They get these big ideas. They pull directors and writers in and studios in, and then more than half the time, it never comes to fruition. So, and it boggles my mind. How are they going to do an expanded universe on an 8-book standalone limited series? And it's like, so you get Amazon and these studios behind these properties to say, oh, well, what's selling right now? Well, comic book movies are, and look what Marvel's doing with their expanded universe. So let's do that too. And are they even really thinking these things out? So while I'm not sitting here saying I'm mad at anybody for speculating on these books, maybe there's people that were able to get get their hands on these books and flip them and make money. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Inherently, there's nothing wrong with that. But I can't give this book a props, really, when there's so much uncertainty and volatility when you look at value and monetary value on the market for this book. And you can argue that the incentive market is what it is, and people will pay a premium for those because they like the cover art or they like to collect variants. But again, just to reiterate, all these books made this list this week simply because it was option, and that's where it just really concerns me. And that's just kind of my approach to these indie optioned books at this point that hit these peaks when the announcement hits, and then if you follow the trend, especially over the last year, those values have a really hard time holding.
It's like so many of those don't actually pan out too.
What Swaggle says right here, who's definitely in the industry. I mean, he's had 4 screenplays optioned in purgatory for So exactly what you're saying, James. Sorry. I just wanted to highlight this comment there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, it's just, and the funny thing is, that story is great. Like, you guys read that one? I thought it was actually like pretty fantastic. I'm pretty behind on my reading, but Image is actually the ones I like try to read. Like, I'm missing Marvel, I'm missing DC, I'm really behind, but those ones I try to read because they're just dope. So that's why I got it. And the funny thing is, the reason why I have 3 copies of that isn't because of some spec reason. It's because my ass can't remember what I pre-order. Comic book stuff. And
I do that too.
I got another one, and apparently I pre-ordered 2 of them, so then I had 3. It's definitely not a flop in terms of like storytelling. Like, get the whole series; it's going to be a blast. I can't wait for the graphic novel to come out. But in terms of like plugging your money into it, hey man, I don't know about that. Yeah.
I agree too, James, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Like, when you look at the story, and that goes back to your question, like, I really it would, and again, not that you need to read comics to be a true collector, that speculation is bad, but it would have been amazing to see this issue hit this top 10 when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't on my radar when it came out. I read a little blurb about it. It sounds fascinating. For those that don't know, 8 billion genies are available to the whole world to give one wish. And correct me if I'm wrong, James.
You're right.
To everybody.
And so there's definitely been a trend where lately I am just enjoying the hell out of Image. I don't know what's up. Like 2021 and 2022, Image is blowing Marvel and DC out of the water. Pretty much like 90% of what I pick up from Image, I'm really enjoying. Like, really enjoying. So it was a no-brainer for me to pick it up. I didn't see any spec or whatever. It's just Image books right now are the tits, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite books is Firepower. That's Image as well. You know, you have Scumbag is great. Like, there's a lot of good stuff coming from Image, no doubt. And everything's been convoluted with the big two as well, and that's been a bit frustrating. So I hear what you're saying. It's always good. Anyways, just we're kind of getting off track here, but taking a chance on new Image titles is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, you don't get that for money. Anyone who's done this since the 90s knows, don't plug your money into Image.
Yeah.
If you want to read it, do it, but geez, it's not going to work out for you that way.
It probably won't be the next Walking Dead. Anyway, so Chris, I don't know if we're looking for props or flops with this one. How are we going to do it this week? Because
So
again, a Department of Truth too, as well. Joe just brought that up.
I'm throwing curveballs here because I'm breaking the rules of my own segment, but I think this is the evolution of just having these conversations. And I think if we have to look at props or flops, I if you take in what I said and my perspective and what James said as well, and what I've said to the viewers over the last few weeks, what context are we giving to props or flops? If you're talking about story and looking what Image is doing, we can give this props all day. But when we look at why it made the list, I got to give it flops because it's the wrong reason at the wrong time. And I see nothing but a volatile future for wherever this book is going to land in terms of the spec investment.
Yeah.
I'm going to take myself out of the conversation because
if I may, gentlemen, there's one on this list I don't agree with at all.
Let's get to that after Chris's too. Let's definitely get to that. But the reason I'm taking myself out of this specific conversation is I have a conflict of interest when it comes to press from the comic shop. So I don't want to put myself out there like I'm pumping and dumping or anything like that. So I'm taking myself out, and that's all.
We know you got that tattooed on your lower back, Jeff. Pumping and dumping.
Mum's the word until fresh from the comics. Pumping. In 2 years, Chris, that could possibly be your best joke. Oh my God, I can't top that. Moving on, Chris, your next book here. Holy cow!
Okay.
You got me blushing.
Well, so this kind of again, and I know we're looking at one book. It was Black Panther 3 that made the list that I want to talk about, and it's talking about Tosin. And I know I'm like, flops to the whole list, and I don't want to give Tosin a complete flop, but this book didn't make the list again, his first appearance, because he shows up in issue 7, and I know that people are looking at this and they're going back to specking on this book because of movie hype possibilities. That's why this book is on this list. So this is a tough one because, Jeff, what do I say all the time? Kevin Feige takes over the reins of Marvel Comics, right? And we look at what they tried to do for 10 plus years prior, once the MCU started, and once we got Avengers and we knew that we were diving into this Infinity saga. So much that happened in the movies was then kind of recycled back into the comic books after the fact. And I always said they're going to bring Feige on and they're going to start doing what they were doing originally, and what I think a lot of older heads, people our age, 30 plus, really enjoyed with the MCU was they're bringing back source material that we were reading as kids. They were bringing in characters that were here before we were born or that came about when we were kids, and then we're seeing these storylines play out. Yeah, maybe different and in their own way, and they're changing things up, but so much so that we can have that nostalgia. Then they would recycle what had happened in the movies back into the comic books. We get new Infinity Wars when new Guardians of the Galaxy when we get them introduced and all this stuff. Well, I think that Kevin Feige heading the comic books, and this is just my opinion, I don't know, but knowing him, I would like to see him take the reins and say, we're going to get fresh in the comic books. We're going to start creating new characters again in the comics, and then having the comic books tell these stories and then introducing them into the movies and TV shows instead of doing the opposite. So I think, and this could be a good thing for this character. There could be a lot riding on Tosin, especially, unfortunately, what has happened with Chadwick and his passing and the whole question mark of Black Panther. Who's going to take the reins? Shuri going to take the reins. M'Baku, a multiversal T'Challa. Oh, Vibranium Man, right? So, you know, I don't want to short the possibilities here. But again, I know that this book continues to hit this list because of that reason. Miles Morales, because this Tosin was compared to Miles Morales, and that's what pushed the hype of Tosin. Miles Morales, in my humble opinion, who's 10 years in the game now, 10 years plus in the game, I think Miles is a character that balances out the love of the character in the comic books with the love of the character because of the success of the Into the Spider-Verse, because of the success of the video game, and because we are speculating on him showing up in the MCU. And I love that about Miles. I love that you have all of these things, and I think all of these things are driving the value of his books. And I love that because it shows you how diverse the comic book market is. And we can have all of these things happening simultaneously. Live action spec, animated spec, actual comic book enthusiasts that are buying into the character just because they love the character. But with Tosin, there's a big question mark there to where is there enough inherent value in this character and his story arc and what he means to the comic books? Or are we just all riding on him showing up in the MCU? And if he doesn't, what's going to happen? And remember, I haven't even looked at the numbers of this book, but I mean, this book was already hitting close to, like, you know, getting up to Ultimate Fallout 4 numbers from 2020. And that just blows my mind. So again, when you're looking at like props or flops, that's why I'm just like, it's the same thing. It's extremely, extremely volatile. And while I wish I would have picked this book up because, you know, I can't beat myself up and have FOMO now and go grab it for some extremely high price, hoping and wishing, you know, gambling. And it goes back to that deeper socio-cultural or psychological addictive nature, the fight or flight, you know, need, where it's that next fix. And if I'm missing out on it, I'm not thinking with my conscious brain. I'm thinking on a reactionary basis of just letting those endorphins take over, similar to how anybody that gets the hot seat at a casino in Las Vegas, and you know, they keep losing and they keep losing, but they're like, oh, the blackjack states have risen, right? Oh, now I don't know. I'm not a gambler, so I don't know. But like maybe the pot, like, right? Isn't there a pot that like grows or something? And like, you know, now they're like running to the bank next door trying to take out a loan because they're like, oh, I can hit it this time. And then they got to, you know, put their house up for a second mortgage, and then they lose it to the bank and all that. So I can't, I know those are extremes, but I can't put so much in to this character and why it's showing up on these top 10 lists.
James.
Yay.
What are your thoughts on Black Panther number 3?
I have no thoughts because I don't follow. I'm like Journo. I'm not that reactionary. I plug into things that I actually know, and something like that, it's just a little too like, you're right. It's just like if it flops, it like that's gonna die, and no one's gonna remember that character. So that's not interesting for me. What is interesting to me is that Thunderbolt's finally getting the attention I think it deserves. I always thought that was. I don't like to say this following term very much. I always thought that was a very undervalued book.
Uh,
And with the announcements about the Thunderbolts, I don't know if it was a movie or show or whatever. It's nice to see that book get a little of attention, but it is, again, probably for the wrong reasons. It's getting attention because there's going to be a movie or show,
Mhm.
and not because it's awesome. Which, unfortunately, that's the real reason I like it. Is that thing's awesome. So the Black Panther book, yeah, maybe it turns into something. I didn't pick it up. It doesn't change my life that I didn't pick it up. Let me tell
Sure.
you. You know, there is one book here I did think I wanted to comment on. If you want to pop it back up on the screen, issue number 4 here on this list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't want to steal your thunder. Is that the last one you wanted to?
No,
talk
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a feeling we're going to agree with you here on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything you just said is accurate. These are all on here for what we could call the wrong reasons. People just hunting little whiffs in the wind about something getting big or whatever the heck. Issue number 4 is on here because of some silly choices they made within the pages of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Of just trying to be really pandering and trying to be like reach a more urban audience and stuff like that, which makes the book almost a parody of itself.
Right.
And I like that people want to pick that up because it's just a bunch of editors being dumb about some stuff and some stupid choices. So it's like a funny book to own. It's almost like those books you pick up. I'm trying to think of an example where maybe there's a reprint where it's like they didn't bleep out the F word.
Yeah.
You see it, or that one Superman book where you pick it up and you can see the Twin Towers on fire.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those types of books where it's like you flip it up and it's like, oh, look at this dumb thing they decided to do. That's actually interesting. And that's not because of a movie.
Yeah.
That's not some variant. That's just because of a silly choice. So that's my exception to this list.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And we did, because it was on here last week, we did address that as an outlier. Yeah. So, and again, it's like for all the wrong reasons. Right. But, and it's interesting too. I was recently in an interview, big shout out to, Jimmy with Small Town Collectibles, but, we talked about that, and, it is funny how these kind of, bloopers or blenders, get attention. And I was like, I didn't even, because I was being interviewed about it and I didn't even read it. I'm like, now I want to go buy it just to read the story and to see what everyone's talking about, You
see what you just said? You want to buy it because of the story. Right there. That's a legitimate thing to make that on this list. It reminds me of like all those weird 80s X-Men cartoons. How the X-Men's where Kitty Pryde was like saying the N-word and all this crazy stuff. You seen those, Journo?
No.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing is there's a few X-Men books. I think one might be a New Mutants, where Kitty Pryde just like goes off with like racial slurs, homophobic slurs. It's like, girl, chill.
Yeah.
It's like the book, like you want to pick it up, not because it's a key, but because it's like, oh my God, did she really say that? Oh, yes, she did.
Yep.
Yeah, but people are paying crazy prices. And there's a history of this. Like when COVID first started, I think there was a character called COVID in Amazing Spider-Man that people went nuts for completely the wrong reason. Like
Corona.
Thinking that they're going to, it was Corona. That's who it was. There was another one, Immortal Hulk, where the artist drew some sort of anti-Semitic thing in the window. And that issue was recalled, but everybody's going nuts for it. So those types of controversial books that like,
if you want to hold on, I might be able to find that Superman book. I know I've got it right here.
But yeah, again, it for the wrong reason. And then this What If book, I saw somebody on T-Shoe. It's a What If book. Anything goes. The problem with this is that there were some stereotypes used, and it was really inappropriate. The way I haven't read it, but from what I've understood, and the fact that it's on a top 10 list is just like, what do we got here?
That's the Twin Towers on fire.
Ooh.
And this came out, I believe this came out like a week before 9/11.
Oh, see, well, that was like, that's not, Oh, that's a bad choice. That was a bad coincidence. I had a buddy.
Bad coincidence. Yeah, it's like I think the band was Dream Theater. They had some live bootleg concert that released, and it showed like New York City on fire, and it came out like the day.
Well, my buddy was in a band called Dragpipe that had an album that came out that week with the towers on fire.
Wow.
You know, and obviously that's not intentional. That's planned for months in advance, and that ruined the band. So, anyways, all right. So, Chris, we are going to get to the third pick of this week, which actually will look familiar in terms of what you've done in the past. Here we go.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, maybe as I'm going down, there's a theme here. After saying just give them all flops. This one is the biggest question mark in terms of, well, could this be a positive thing? We're going to talk about Iron Cat. We have the Iron Cat number 1 in 50 variant on here, but I'm not going to talk about that one. That follows the trend of the
number 9,
the incentive, incentive variant and everything. Cool cover, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to talk about Spectacular Spider-Man Annual number 4. Now, we do have our standard graphic. Here we go for this book, because I wanted to really look at the numbers for this one like I normally do. So when it made the top 10 list last week, it had 192% upward trend in sales. And just for perspective, there's I don't have a lot of graded data. There was no sales this week or last week, but there are 21 total copies on the census. 11 of them are 9.8. So a few people have sent this book in to get graded. Last graded copy sold May of this year. It was a 9.4 and it sold for $50. So when you consider the cost of grading and everything, that's it. There's not much value there. Now, the high raw last week when this book hit the top 10 was 40. It actually has continued to increase in terms of high raws. There was actually a good amount. There was a handful over 40 this last week, with the high sitting at 51. Current average raw since, by the way, I'm sorry guys, I didn't give context. Why are we talking about Iron Cat in this book? Because this is the first appearance of Tamara Blake, who was revealed to be Iron Cat. So context that is definitely needed. Sorry guys. The current average raw since that reveal, which was over the last 2 weeks, $27. So keep in mind, these are raw averages. You're not taking grade into consideration, okay? Now, this is what I think is very, very important. The average raw prior to this reveal was $4. That is a 575% increase in value. Not sales, sorry guys. Increase in value. So, there's the pros and cons that we could pick out about this book. One is you can really look at this and say, well, there's no movie spec here. There's no live action, no movie spec, nothing like that, right? This is just something that's happening in a modern comic, Iron Cat, a character that didn't really have a role in the comic books or, much of a backstory. She was a good friend of Felicia, Black Cat, had tie-ins with, I believe, it wasn't her father. Wasn't it the fox? I believe the Black Fox was, if I can remember correctly. I read all these. It's been a while. Trained in cat burglary, right? So now Marvel Comics, the comic book side of things, however many 30, almost 40 years later, decides to kind of give this character something, give him a backstory and turn him into something. So we could give this book a props because it's showing that people are actually looking at this for what's happening in the comic books, and it's tying it all together. But the reason why I'm even looking at this book as a flops is because of two things. One, it's hard to believe that a lot of people that are seeing this reveal, not thinking that this could show up in a Sony movie or the MCU, slash Sony verse. It's hard to see that not being the case here with this, because almost everything Marvel, including the Spider-Man characters that could show up in a Sony movie or in a partner adventure with Marvel Studios, it has the potential to happen. Another thing is the increase in sales, in value, excuse me. A 575% increase from a $4 book is, and again, that's the average. I'm not even calculating the $40 to $50 sales. I'm taking that's the $27 average next to the $4 average. 575%. Even solid stocks. I'm going to use Disney. Let's use Disney as an example. During the COVID market, for the stock market even, Disney stock ballooned up to about close to, I think it got up to at least like $170 a share or even higher. Right now, last time I looked, it was sitting at about $95.
Woo!
So it dropped roughly 50% in value after seeing such huge increases over the last couple of years. And Disney is a solidified stock. Even solidified, more conservative stock can really hurt you and be volatile when you see such high increases over a short term. This right here is extremely volatile for me, because even if people aren't looking at this as, oh, this character could show up in a movie, like we'll go back to what James said about that Tosin. We look at what modern comics are doing. We look at what Marvel and DC has been doing for the last decade, and they're trying, guys. They're trying to cater to different types of audiences. They're trying to recycle things. They're trying to be new with things. They're trying a lot of these things, and a lot of it hasn't really been working, and I think they still have a lot of kinks to work out. Who knows what's going to happen with Tamara Blake and Iron Cat a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So, again, that's why I'm just looking at this. It's like it's for the wrong reasons. If this book was on this list, Moving Units, and it was selling for $10 or $15, maybe I'd give it props because it's not that much of a risk. It's less risky. But I just can't go there with it. It's a big question mark, and I can't wait, and I say this cynically, to see a 9.8 of this book go on sale over the next couple of weeks. If that happens, and this book sells for $500 or $600 and a 9.8, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like, and again, I'm not spending it, so I'm not going to worry about it, but I cringe, so.
I'm not picking
James.
it up. Yeah.
I appreciate the callback. I appreciate when they dig and do these types of things. I'm not. Yeah, we're gonna start hearing people. She's gonna be in the next Avenger. She's gonna be in this. She's gonna be in that. Just like Tosin is in Black Panther too. Apparently, who knows if he is, but most likely he's not. Those are the types of things that we're gonna start hearing. And I agree with you. I think this book is a bit volatile. It's definitely volatile, and I would not put a ton of stock in there. I am curious to see all the 9.8s that come back and see what they go for, but totally on the same page as you all, for sure.
Wait, let me do a quick Go Collect search. See if nothing's popped up in the last 24 hours or something.
And while you do that, nobody's guessed what's going on back here. James has decided this is what he wanted to show in the background. It's definitely not Goku or whatever Gus was saying. But what's that?
I can't believe no one's got it.
Yeah, nobody's got it. So.
Oh, by the way,
fun
give
fact.
The last 9.8 of that book sold in 2020. Look at this, $26. They lost money.
Wow.
Getting it graded from CGC. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So again, again, we're not here to tell you what not to buy or what to buy. These are our opinions. If this is worth it to you to spend that much money on a 9.8 of this book, go for it. If you want it in your collection, go for it. If you think it's going to be a great investment, I'm a little hesitant on that. So, yes, Mark Leneker.
$26. I'll pick it up for $26 in a 9.8 all day.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know.
Mark Leneker, Static Shockle. Or his other version, Satanic Shock. But 360, aka Joe, got it correct. So Mark did it before him. Anyways,
Mark,
congratulations.
With the slip of the fingers there.
Yeah, no doubt. It's still great to make fun of him. All right, so that right there, Chris, that's the top 10 look back props or flops. It was a bit different than it was each week for a reason.
It was a bit different. And James, we appreciate your input. And guys, I really hope that you took something out of this week's, trying to flip it up. And Jeff and I, we are going to continue to try to look at books that are moving on the market differently. Because look, I'm all about. I'm a big investor in comics, even though mostly for the long term. I like to spec here and there if it's things that I like. And these are all valid things to talk about. I don't hate, but it does get tiring, for me as like a journalist to sit here and talk about this and be redundant week after week. So we're going to continue to try to evolve this and try to really talk about what the market's doing in new and fresh different ways for you guys. So we'll see where it goes.
Yes, this is a segment that we're going to do some work on, but the next segment we don't need to do much work on other than fix a problem that's out of our control. But before we get into that, I want to give props to Tony Trombetta with EGS because we really appreciated him and his products before he sponsored Fresh from the Comic Shop. But we truly do. And to the point, I want to share something with you all. I am going to be sending my first book to EGS. It's my most prized possession in terms of a comic book. I want to give a little backstory as to why, but EGS will have new cases starting next month, and I want to share this book and tell you all why it's so special to me. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 96, and it's signed by Stan Lee. Ooh. And this issue right here was the first one to say, Stan Lee's like, we're not going to have the comics code here. We're going to publish a story. It's about drugs. And I was lucky enough to work with Stan Lee 3 times. And he's a guy, some of those people, you never want to meet your heroes. This guy you did want to meet because he exceeded expectations every time you hung out with him. And I just want to play the segment as to why it's so special with me. I did a piece on him about the story of why this comics code, why he decided to push forward and not have the comics code on a book that all books had the comics code authority on there for decades previously. This segment I did was up for a Webby Award. It lost to Zach Galifianakis Between Two Ferns. I'm very proud to lose to Zach for something like that. But just check this out, and we'll come back to it. I just want to, again, talk about Tony, and this will kind of lead us into Fresh from the Comic Shop. Here's influential issues with Stan Lee.
Well, years ago, there was a psychiatrist named Frederick Wortham, and he blamed comics for every known ill that mankind had. He started congressional investigations and everything about comic books. The publishers got together and had to form something called the Comics Code. Every publisher submitted all their work to the Comics Code office, and they would approve the pages and make sure they weren't too sexy or too violent. One day, I got a letter from the Office of Health Education and Welfare in Washington. And the letter essentially said they're aware of the popularity of Marvel Comics and especially Spider-Man. And the HEW thought that it would be a great idea if we could do an anti-drug story in our comic books, especially in the Spider-Man title. No kid wants to be preached to, so I made it part of a story. It wasn't an anti-drug story, but within the framework of the story, there was a situation where one of Spider-Man's friends had taken some drug. Spider-Man had to save his friend who wanted to jump off the building because he thought he could fly. And I made that part of a larger plot. It was just an incident. But it was, I think, very well and subtly done. And we submitted the story to the Comics Code, and they rejected it. And I said, what are you rejecting it for? They said, according to our Bible, you're not allowed to mention drugs. I said, look, we're not telling kids to take drugs. We're showing one of the ill effects of drugs. And besides, the Office of Health, Education, and Welfare, our government, asked me to do this. Sorry, you're not allowed to mention drugs. Well, I was very proud of our publisher. I went to him. His name was Martin Goodman. I said, Martin, you've got to let me send these 3 issues out without the code. He said, gosh, Dan, that's taking a big step. I mean, we're supposed to abide by the code. And I said, yeah, but we're supposed to do what the government tells us. I got this letter from Washington. And besides, it's a good thing. It's letting kids know that drugs are harmful. This time he said, okay, Stan, you go ahead and do it, and I'll back you up. So for the first time in a few years, we sent out, it was a 3-issue story. We sent out 3 issues. They didn't have the Comics Code on the cover. And the world did not come to an end. But what happened was we had really the greatest mail from parents, teachers, religious organizations praising us for that story. And I might add that it does have a happy ending because the Comics Code finally allowed a mention of drugs if it can be done in a way like that. This was a defining moment in the Comics Code Authority losing a lot of its authority.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's, again, that's probably the second to last time I worked with him. That's why this book is so special to me. I wanted to do something, too, where he signed it and held it up. It just didn't fit in the edit. But Tony Trombetta, I'm sending this your way. And once we get it back, we are going to show off the case and what everything looks like. I'm not sure what I want to do with the customized label or anything. I'll have to think about that. But I've been meaning to send you this, but I've been having trouble parting with it. So that's what I want to tell you guys. And that kind of leads into our next segment, which we'll talk more about EGS. But Chris, can you refresh my memory specifically as to what the segment's called? I can't.
I mean, Jeff, you just said it, but we all know that Jeff's memory isn't so fresh.
Real bad.
But we still are, as we are every week, fresh from the comic shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That is right. We ask you, the audience, to send us your fresh gets each and every week, and we show them off right here. But not only do we show them off, you are able to win an amazing monthly prize from EGS. Chris, is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely,
and
guys.
What do we have for this month in July? What is the amazing lab that we're giving away?
Guys, this lab is just beautiful. I think we got to bring it up on screen here.
Boom.
There it is. Star Wars Darth Vader. Was that issue 20? I forget.
It's 20, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yep. It's the 50th anniversary variant, and just EGS doing their thing with that real nice and simple custom label there. The gray just makes it pop. So you guys have the opportunity to win this book. Remember the criteria in doing so. You can enter fresh from the comic shop by posting your books on Instagram, but in order to actually have a chance to win the book, you have to make sure that you are subscribed to EGS's YouTube channel. That link is below. You have to be following EGS.
Oops, my bad.
That's all right. You have to be following EGS on the Instagram. All right. Once you do that, then you submit your fresh get, on Instagram. Make sure you leave the hashtag FFTCS. But remember, guys, we are still having difficulties with Instagram, keeping everything under the hashtag. So you're going to want to make sure that you tag Comic Book Canon at us. Also you can at me at journos_comics just to make sure that we are getting them. But Jeff, we can bring up that other image because I do want to let you guys know on top of the monthly giveaways that you guys can win by entering fresh from the comic shop. You can also save money off of your purchase from EGS. You go to egscomicsgrading.com, check out their website, check out some of their portfolio. You can see some examples of what they're doing. They offer the custom labels. They work with you. I mean, you guys can literally sit there and basically design your own label with them by telling them exactly what you want. And I always like to, be very vocal about the fact that they don't just do custom labels. They have their certified universal blue label as well. But you guys can save 5% off when you use the code Cannon5. Again, optional custom labels, free grader notes, fast turnaround time, egscomicsgrading.com.
Yeah, and again, I can't emphasize enough the issues we've been having with Instagram are it's insane, and we haven't been able to just follow the hashtag. So it's imperative that you guys tag us in the picture. It can't hurt to tag us in the description. Here's a little image of how I did that today right here. So basically, I went to my post. I uploaded a picture here, as you can see. I put a description. Guys, always put a description, please, with the hashtag FFTCS. Continue using it, please. Hopefully this will get fixed soon. I tagged Comic Book Canon in the description, as you can see. Very slow typer as well. Probably spelled FFTCS wrong. And Comic Book Canon is tagged there. But the more important thing to do here is to tag the picture, which you'll see next here. I swear I did it. Boom. There. I tagged. Very important that you tag the picture as well. We really want to be tracking these. It's very important to us. We don't want to miss any of them. So here we are. Before we get started, though, James, can you please tell us how many followers you have on your YouTube? Because again, this could be the last Comic Book Canon show. We need 70,172 followers, guys. You better be following James at Mint Hunter Comics. Link is down below. Where are we?
I actually went up 3. I'm at 17,165.
Guys,
might be
again, we're gonna cancel the canon. This could be the last episode of the canon, so y'all better be following Mint Hunter. The link is down below. Make it happen right now. We'll just start getting into Fresh from the Comic Shop. James, as you know, you are the judge, and the criteria for Fresh from the Comic Shop is presentation. We want to see a well-composed picture. We want to see something that's creative, that's outside the box, that is fun. Make it fun, people, when you take that picture. We want to see unique books as well. It doesn't have a $30,000 book, but it also, something that we haven't maybe seen before, and there could be a backstory to there. And speaking of story, something that pulls on our heartstrings, something that means something to you, the viewer. We've seen a lot of great stories. A lot of people, finding books that they, was their first book that they picked up, but they lost it, or something tragic happened to it. So again, we want to see those things. Those are the 3 criteria: presentation, unique book, and what's the story behind that book. So here we go. We're going to get right into it. We're going to show 3 of our books as well. James, it's one at a time, round robin style. We'll get to you first, but first, we're going to get to our wonderful audience right here. Let's just make it happen, Cap'n. That's right. Just wasting time trying to find it. First one we have Maz's Toy Box. There's no description here, but he got some good books. I see quite a few X-Men. I see Ultimate Fallout. This is a crazy stash. Oh, I think he sent that Fantastic Four to CGC. Absolutely incredible. Good pickup right there.
Good batch of books there.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe that. Absolutely. A ton of great books. All right. Next up, we have Norrin Rad. Again, there's no description here, but I appreciate that. I guess it's a Funko. It's not a Funko Pop. It's some sort of cool-looking Hulk figure right in front of. I'm not sure what book that is. That's I don't know. Incredible Hulk 8, I think maybe. But good stuff right there. Next up, we have Son of Comics. We have the Venom number 3, the Gabriel Delato Virgin variant, limited to 1,000 books. Delato dropped another dope Venom cover, which is sick. I have to agree with that, guys. That is a nice-looking cover, and we got the Red Hulk for his approval as well. We got Nukes Comics, fresh from the comic shop, the Amazing Spider-Man number 75 in this stunning Inyuk Lee variant cover. I picked this up from DBS. Peter, grieving the loss of Harry, has to now contend for Ben Reilly and the Beyond Corporation, appropriating his name and life's mission. That's a cool looking cover as well. That is a great looking cover. Next up, we have Marvel Man 616 Comics. He won last month, actually, fresh from the comic shop. So he's not eligible to win. He has 5 more months to go. Marvel Superheroes number 23 reprints the first appearance of Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Toad, Mastermind, and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants from X-Men #4. Nice pickup there. And seriously, we love Mark Leneker, even though he can't spell Static Shock, but he always delivers the books, and this one is no different right here. My friend who sold me Green Lantern #9 came through again big time with Flash 139 from 1963, the first appearance and origin of Eobard Thawne, the reverse Flash. Barry Allen Foe's word. I'm sorry, I'm losing it right here. I was making fun of him typing, but I can't talk. Barry Allen's worst foe and the man who tried to destroy his life. This is my first Silver Age Flash, art and cover by Carmen Infantino. James, I know you appreciate those Silver Age books, especially Green Lantern. You should have seen the Green Lanterns that Mark Leneker picked up a few weeks ago. Outstanding. Speaking of outstanding, what's your first fresh get of the week? What do you got?
These are my 3 that you...
Yeah, take one right now.
All right, yeah, I'm going to grab this one. So... this is Green Lantern issue 43. It's the super old CGC label.
Wow.
I just want to point out, this book is from 1966. It is a 9.4, and I got it for just stupid low money. Like, it doesn't really make sense that I'm able to get a 9.4 of a 1966 book for so cheap. And it is actually a first appearance. It's the first appearance of Major Disaster, which is a notable Green Lantern character. And just that's what I love about Green Lantern. There are just some books that are impossible to get, like the Sinestros and the John Stewart and the whatever. But there are so many, like, you can go to 1963, 1962, even 1961, and still be able to get those keys. Filler issues, keys, you can still get them with Green Lantern. That's one of the things I really love about Green Lantern.
You seem to have a knack of falling into those books. I think your most recent video, you had Green Lantern 72, 76, and like 5. And then they were in the 9s. Not all were 9.8s. Well, I just showing off mine right here. I love it.
I do have a 9.8 of that book that you just showed. Yes,
that's not easy to do, and you do it well. And again, you kind of show what's possible to everybody, which is very appreciated. Again, and that's what you bring to the community, and you guys all better be following, because again, this is the last canon. If we don't get up to
guys, you know how hard it is to get a 9.4 from 1966.
Yeah, it's not a common thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely not
an old label, and they were a bit more lenient back then. So
you're not going to crack that open anytime soon.
No.
All right, moving on. We got Cover Junkie Comics. He's one of our favorites here, and this one is there it is. Got it. I like this one a lot, by the way. With Prince Namor, the Submariner, #20 from December 1969. This book marks the first battle of Doctor Doom and Namor, which in my honest opinion is destined to take place at some point in the MCU. Let's go Doom! He's a big Doom fan. I love the Doom and Namor Funko Pops. I love how he's composed this shot with the book in the middle here. And great work, Cover Junkie. Great work indeed. All right, James, this next one, Nori Jordan is the biggest Thunderbolts fan you will ever meet. No bullshit. It's not quite a Thunderbolts themed haul he has, but these are the hauls that he made, like, literally. Fresh from the comic shop this week was a busy one, and I will consider this week's post simply Thunderbolts inspired. Thunderbolts Volume 2 was a great series formed by Thunderbolt Ross, a.k.a. Red Hulk. So I thought I would learn more about him and read his original series in all the free time I don't have. I was very excited when I came home and saw that 20-book lot I ordered had arrived. It seemed heavier than it should be, and I was pleasantly surprised that the seller included 45 extra books from this series for free. Wow. Jeez. I couldn't fit them all in the pick, but they are nice reader copies, and even included nice copies of the first appearance of Red She-Hulk. I figured I would include my CGC 9.8 #1 in the pick just for fun. On to next week and what will be a good Thunderbolt submission. Like, literally, man, he's on a mission to collect every possible. Now, I'm not talking about the number issues. I'm talking about every Thunderbolts issue ever produced. He needs to own them. He needs to hoard them. He needs to have them himself. It's incredible, and I appreciate it. Chris, I appreciate you. What is your first fresh get of the week?
All right, my first one will be I just took a little trip down to Santa Cruz on the coast this last week. And what do I do whenever I go to someplace out of town into a new town? I got to see where the comic book stores are at. So I went in a couple spots. I found one spot that had an awesome 50-cent bin, and I found some goodies. I wanted to show them all off today, but I'll just show one. It definitely needs some love. It needs a press, but a press is going to clean this book up good. 50 cents. What if number 24 from volume 1? What if Spider-Man had to rescue Gwen Stacy? For 50 cents, man. And of course, well, spoilers, but they end up, doing the thing, getting married. This also has a backstory and it's continues the origin of the Eternals and has the first appearance of Eternals Uranos. So I know there's not a lot of love for Eternals right now, but I still think that's pretty cool. But find this book for 50 cents, freaking
heck yeah, man. That's a great get for that. That is a great get for that price.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely a mistake to put that in that bin. I'm glad you found that, though.
I mean, it's got some water staining on the back.
50 cents, though. I mean, like, honestly.
Yep.
Incredible. Good stuff. Absolutely. Next up, we have 630 Collectibles, a.k.a. Matt Ladno, I do believe. I hope that's who that is. As some of you may know, I'm collecting Miles Morales books for my nephew Eli. This past week, my submission to CGC came back, and I couldn't be more happy with the grades that Eli got on his books. I think Eli's collection is better than mine at this point. Some good news. My sister has another kid on the way, and they are naming him after Uncle Iroh from Avatar. Avatar The Last Airbender, sorry. Hopefully you guys can help me choose what character to collect for little Iroh. Have a great week, everybody. That's good stuff, man. That is really cool. I love seeing what parents or relatives are collecting for their younglings. They may not, like Raising Elm, for example. His boy's still considered a newborn. He may not fall into collecting, but his dad's doing it, and just trying to just do what he can to share his love with his son. I truly love that as well. I'm gonna go with my first fresh get of the week. Chris, I did the same thing. I was in northern New York, and coming back, I hit a few shops up, and I'm glad I did. I will buy this every day, for a price like this. This is Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures #2, first appearance of Marching Row, $4.25. I have a bunch of these. They're gonna blow up, and I'm happy I have these. So that's my first book right there.
These,
yes. Sure. All right, moving on. We have, who do we have, Chris? Who do we have? We have Super Crispy Comics in the house. Super Crispy. My brother just came through with a nice stack of some dollar bin books and found me some Weapon H issues I didn't have. I don't know about you guys, but I think Weapon H is a beast. I've really been liking this run. This one is not a key or anything, but look at that cover. So sick. That's look at the way he composed that shot, too. It's a great cover. I really like the depth of field he has going on there.
Background blur.
The background falls off. It looks gorgeous, and we truly appreciate that. He has another former winner.
Stand.
What's that?
The custom Marvel stand he's got.
Yeah. Oh, he makes his own wood. He's a what would you call it, Chris? A woodworker or wood master?
Yeah.
He makes a lot of cool leather things too. So good stuff there, Crispy Comics. Good stuff indeed. Next up, C to the G. What do we got? I love this too, right here. What he's done here. Image Comics, The Scorched, number 3 through 6. X-Men #1 connecting covers homage. McFarlane after Lee. This was purely a cover buy because it hit all those childhood notes that the original had given me. Plus, you don't see this homage done very often or at all, which is really strange because this is these covers left such an imprint on us as young collectors. So I like how he set that up right there. It really is. It's well done. All right, James, what is your second fresh get of the week?
Yep.
What do you got?
I'm going to save this one for last. All right, so this is a book I weirdly have a few of. It's a key. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., #1. For whatever weird reason, I legitimately have got like 4 or 5 of these. Kind of a weird one to have duplicates of. This one, though, is notable because it has no spine ticks.
Get out of here. Let's see if we can see that close up.
Yeah. Let's look at this thing. This it is. You are going to run into. What's the best? I'm like inverted or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's looking nice.
Now, I think I'm going to run into like an off or off white pages situation. So it definitely needs a clean. It needs a press. But ironically, the clean more than the press. The press is really only going to do so much. So that is one I am going to get graded, which is funny. I actually almost sent in the other one before I picked this one off. I'm glad I waited. Totally underrated key, by the way. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1.
Is that Steranko?
Center book. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got all his weird.
Right.
Weird is the way to put it. Weird but cool. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #4? I think is just the dopest cover ever. That's absolutely.
That's a pretty damn good pickup right there.
That's a sweet pickup, especially for what I paid for it. That's just awesome. That's definitely going to CBCS or EGS.
Or EGS, there you go. No pressure, but they do sponsor this segment. Moving on, who do we have next? We have Union Josh Comics. He's back. Bought a couple of books recently, so let's do Fresh from the Comic Shop for comic book canon. Batman, Sword of Azrael #1, and Moon Knight #1. First off, I wasn't expecting to find either of these books in the wild, let alone the Azrael one, which was signed by Dennis O'Neil.
Oh,
these characters are my favorite hero from their respective universes, but I'd never really seen how familiar they both are. Azrael was indoctrinated into the Order of St. Dumas, a weird cult, while Moon Knight was sucked into Egyptian religion under Khonshu. Both used as weapons by their group to dish out vengeance and order. Both have lax morals and are easily able to do what is necessary for the mission. As seen in Azrael's portrayal of Batman in the Nightfall arc and Moon Knight during the Houston run where he rips Bushman's face off. They also look awesome next to each other like fire and ice. Easy to say why I like them so much and how similar my taste in heroes is. Good to be back, people. Happy hunting. Guys, I didn't realize that there are those similarities. I do remember I have this issue of Azrael from back in the day. I do remember that Nightfall arc, but I don't know much about that character. So it's good. It's really cool to hear something like this. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm like the Nightfall guy. I actually have the entire, it took almost 10 years. I have the entire Nightfall issues, not only 1 through 19, but even the 3 Shadow of the Bats that go on right in the middle. Got them all 9/8 white pages. Took a while, baby, but yeah, I got them all. Nice J channel, custom on the wall. Yeah, I love Azrael, and somehow, despite loving Azrael, I've never noticed the similarities to Moon Knight either. Wow,
that's really cool to bring something like that up, and it's doesn't fall into the criteria, but it's like really useful information, or fascinating information. So it's a good parallel. We really appreciate that. Union Josh Comics. Christopher, what is your second fresh get of the week? Yeah, we're on second, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got?
All right. Well, just like who was it? Louis Logic's Cover Junkies. Talking about Namor, and maybe we're about to see him in a few months here. Well, I got some Namor action, and because I love Spidey so much, how about a Namor Spidey team up and some 69, nice 20-cent copy. So, real cool cover. I don't know if, especially in the early days, if we saw Spidey team up with Namor that much. So
that's a good one. I like that Namor costume too.
Yeah,
more like realistic, but obviously they're going something closer to his original comic. But that costume, that's a good one, Chris. Good stuff right there. All right, moving on. Who do we got? Goonish Lurker. Oh man, I forgot to put some other people's descriptions in here. Goonish Lurker. I had the honor of meeting Temple Smith at Fan Expo Denver on Saturday. He was wonderful, and I'm so glad I was able to talk to him about the possibility of creating more issues for Fell. He made my weekend by signing my copy of Fell #1, also Galactus. And you could, oops, actually, I put the wrong one up first. But as you can see, he signed his Fell book, and he has the Galactus there, and there he is, meeting one of his favorites right there. So good stuff right there. I'm going to bring up my second fresh get of the week. And again, remember when I said I'm taking myself out, conflict of interest with the whole, yeah, guys, I don't know. I just walked into a shop and I was like, okay, why not? I'm going to get all of them because they've been out for a while. I got 1 Billion Genies, A cover. I got 1 Billion Genies. Maybe this is a B cover. I don't know, but I got 3 of those. I didn't even put those in bags yet. And then I got 1 Billion Genies, the Frizen cover. That's a cool cover.
Yeah, I love her.
That is a great looking cover. So I'm very happy.
A is the best, but
Which one? Cover A? Yeah. That's a cool cover. I'm excited to read this too, by the way. I was really fascinated with the the concept of everybody getting a wish, and it's going to be batshit crazy. I think, James, you said you read that first issue. Did you say that you liked it?
Yeah, I need issue 2.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I don't even know if it's come out yet or
it is. I think it is.
Dude, my stack on my nightstand is getting this tall now. I'm so behind.
Yeah.
That and like Little Monsters is another title that's really good right now.
And by the way, Matt Labno, I swear that's why I took myself out of any sort of discussion. I'm not pumping and dumping. I'm not selling these. They're just going to go away. Well, I'm going to read them. Yes, and Mark, I do have 1 billion covers of 1 billion or 8 billion genies. All right, moving on. Who do we have? Dan De La Torre. I apologize, Dan. I forgot to write your description, so I'm going to open up the Instagram right here because I know you sent it to me or to us. I'm so sorry. Where are we, guys? Tell me a good story here, everybody. Nope, never mind. I got it. Here's my fresh from the comic shop. A comic that dovetails a bit with the current Thor movie. I saw Thor. I don't understand the concept, so that's not a spoiler. Stan Lee story and John Buscema artwork. Thor 186. Look at that. 15 center. Good stuff there, Dan. Good stuff indeed. James, what is your final fresh get of the week? What do you got?
All right, final one. I'm really excited about this, actually. I've never owned this book before. It's a big deal for me to have this. We got My Greatest Adventure, issue 80. It's the first appearance of the Doom Patrol.
Oh, get out of here.
No?
Yeah, that's no joke. I still haven't figured out this camera. Yeah, that's no joke. You see Robot Man down there.
Wow.
Never owned this. But also, this is one of those keys where if you're ever flipping through Silver Age stuff, you might miss.
Right.
Because it's one that's hardly ever talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little bit of a forgettable cover if it honestly wasn't for a couple of these guys on there. Does it even mention? Yeah, Doom Patrol does say up at the top there. And this one's pretty nice. It's got its spine ticks, but I'd say it's probably like a 4.0, maybe a 4.5. Maybe a 4.0.
Still, that's an incredible key right there.
Yeah, that's one I don't think I would ever be able to sell that one.
Yeah.
Unless I found it again and it was an upgrade.
Right.
But yeah, that was that's really yes, sir.
Good stuff, man.
Sometimes I run into a lot of the same keys, and I don't want to say that you get numb to it, but you get a little numb to it. That is just dope. You know what I mean? Like
Did you find that in the wild?
What's that?
Did you find that in the wild?
It was a hookup from a friend. He was like, "Hey, check out this collection." I checked it out. So it wasn't like in the wild, like some $2 price, but it was pretty. It was not a comic book shop price. I'll put it that way.
Good. That's great, man. Even better. All right, we're going to move on to our final submissions here that I'm going to need to look up the description. Next up, we have Raising Elm Comics with this one right here. Look at that. We all have our own way of collecting comics. I'm trying to compare runs on Doctor Strange, but I'm trying to complete runs on Doctor Strange. But for Daredevil and the Punisher, I'm just collecting keys at the moment. However, if I see a double cover for any of these characters, like Punisher issue 57, it's definitely wanted in my PC. Get it, guys? Wanted. Sweet pickups for $1 too, fresh from the comic shop. Good stuff, man. Nice. I love the lighting here too. Oh, he's got the handcuffs in the top, and obviously the Punisher photoshopped on there. That's great. He's always so creative with that stuff. Chris, your final fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Man, my final fresh get. I'm flipping through these pages. This is a very, very special book to me. I am very happy to own it. It's a part of my Grail run. My Grail run being amazing. Spider-Man, Jeff, you already know I talked to you about this, but I picked up the earliest Amazing Spider-Man book that I now own.
Oh, what?
And it is. Oh, I wish it was single digit, but we're getting close. Amazing Spider-Man number 16.
Oh wow!
The first crossover of Daredevil in a Spider-Man title.
Yes.
It's. I'm gonna give it a press. It's beat up. It's got added staples, but it's all there. It's beautiful. It presents. I mean, look. Here it is. Boom. I'm happy. I don't care. Shout out to A1 Comics for the hookup on this one, and it is my earliest, so I'm getting closer. Who knows if I'll ever get there? Happy to finally have this one though.
Good stuff, Chris.
Congrats, Journal, man. That's a good one to have. Damn.
Absolutely, 100%.
Of the under 25 ones, I think of the Keys, that's one that's a bit overlooked, but also not that affordable. I don't know.
Yeah, especially what could be happening in the MCU as well now with hopefully them meeting up.
Look how early it is. He's only got 1D, I think, on the chest, and he's yellow.
Yep.
So that's what's that? That's probably the third or fourth appearance of Daredevil or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good stuff, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, from our audience, we have Jacob Comic here with the Carnage covers. Fresh from the comic shop, Carnage has always been one of my favorite characters, and this new run by Ram V has only increased my love for good old Cletus Cassidy. This week's issue 4 was phenomenal, and I think it looks amazing with my 9.6 EGS slab. Look at that EGS slab, everybody. Good stuff. With that. Oh, he's got that little Lego there, too?
Yeah.
That's fun. Nice work there, Jacob. All right.
Yeah.
That completes.
That Carnage run, I gotta say, it's really good. I didn't read 4 yet. I gotta get there. I feel like DC and Image are killing it. I'm behind on my Marvel, but the Carnage run is really solid for sure.
Ram V's doing an excellent job. His Swamp Thing, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm caught up on that.
His Swamp Thing, excellent. All right, guys. So, James, you have a decision to make, but before you do, I'm going to show my last fresh get of the week. That's going to give you a little bit of time to think some things over. Maybe you have three people in the running that you're going to need to choose one from. We could show those 3 people, and then you make your final decision. Does that sound okay?
I've got a final 3 so far, so that works.
Okay, well, here we go, guys. As I said, as I was coming back home from being at some campsite in northern New York, I had a list of comic book shops I would stop by. I didn't know anything about them other than they had decent ratings. This one was called Greenbush Out of Print Comics. I walk in there, they don't have new comics on the shelf, which is cool. And I'm just starting to dig through there, and I'm realizing how crazy these prices are. Like X Factor #1 for $2.50. I got a whole bunch of Riri Williams books for $2. Wow. And I got this book here for $3. I think you guys will appreciate this. This is a little bit more, it's old school, but it's got significance here, and I like it. It's the new Teen Titans number 39.
Oh, yeah.
It's when Dick Grayson hangs up, literally, hangs up. It's the last time he's Robin. And he doesn't become Nightwing until issue 44. It's Marv Wolfman and George Perez, the classic Teen Titans run. $3 I got this for. I mean, it's in decent, it's in decent condition too. It could use a press, but that's about it. But I was blown away finding things like this. This one, I like this because again, it has significance with Dick Grayson walking away from being Robin. So
it is very ironic you would show that book. With the George Perez signing, I actually sent what I would probably consider a bona fide 9.8 candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it out for the George Perez signing, and they obviously we know what happened there. And it was rerouted to go to be a Marv Wolfman signing. But there's been no update to the tracking, and I am currently worried that they might.
That's a mess. That's a
It
big
is
mess.
I got a few hot messes with CGC. I don't need to get into it, but yeah.
Yeah. That we can pause on that. We'll talk about it after the show. But all right, right now we know you have again, we appreciate the time you spent with us, James, and we know you have to kind of get going soon. But not before you do, you have to complete your responsibilities if you want to be eligible for not only the Comic Book Canon varsity jacket, but becoming an official alumnus of the Canon. So, what do we got here, man? What do we got?
Yeah, so I've got like 4 or 5. But
Well, I can pull those up, as you're talking about them. Go for it.
Super Crispy Comics.
Super Crispy Comics. Where are you, buddy? I got you
Especially with a lean towards the
right here.
The photo quality, the story, the custom thing going on there. Yeah, I really like that. We got what was it? Goonish Lurker.
Goonish Lurker. Yeah.
Goonish
well, we
Lurker,
got 2 pictures of him.
Goonish Lurker. I like this one because he was meeting a hero of his.
Yep.
Can't beat that. I know what that feeling is like. There's nothing like it. So that's absolutely sweet. And then I think, ironically, this is the one that came right before him, which was Union Josh.
Correct. Yep.
So Union Josh, even though it didn't necessarily meet the criteria, I thought that was really interesting. It spoke to me because of the Azrael thing too. Right. But I am going to get rid of the bias. I do have a winner. Should I go ahead and announce it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Here we go.
All right. So I am going to go with Goonish.
Goonish Lurker, you have become a semi-finalist on Fresh from the Comic Shop. We will be, I can't remember who we picked last week, Chris. Who was it? I have it written down, and I threw it away.
Shoot. Yeah. I don't even remember last week.
You're going to be going up against last week's semifinalist. This week, we're going to have everybody in the community vote on that, and the winner there goes on to the finals to win this amazing. By the way, we forgot to mention this is a second print as well. I think this is going to be more sought after than the first print.
Yeah, with the silver
Beskar variant.
Yep.
This Darth Vader number 20, the first cover appearance of Din Djarin and Grogu. So congratulations on that. Good stuff. Man, this has been an awesome show, James. We were so psyched to finally get you on.
Hell yeah, it's fun with your boys. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that as well. But no, seriously, like again, it's all about the community and making sure we bring quality people in here that give to the community, and we get a lot back just by hanging out with all of these fine people in the audience and the chat and all that stuff. So again, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank Joe enough for surprising you. That was a lot of fun as well. And he did not. He failed. I was like, make sure you ask him a question that'll kick him off, and boom, he's like, oh, what? You literally answered the Misfits, but before you even finished the question. So.
Dude, yeah. I had it ready, and that was like my honest answer too. So yeah,
hilarious. But anyway, so that right there is the show. Chris and I will be back next week on the 17th. We're gonna have a fun show, and we're working on something kind of special too for the following week. I hope it comes through. We're not going to announce anything, but y'all better be following Mint Hunter Comics. Down below is the link. I don't know if we got to 170.
169, so it's really close, man.
Guys, we'll be monitoring that, I guess. We've never really failed at this, Chris, have we?
Yeah,
I feel like everybody
You know what it is? Everyone loves Manhunter so much that everyone here is already subbed.
Yeah, I bet you that's probably what it is. That's the only thing we can explain because we're very good at getting new subs for people. But again, James, thank you so much. Chris, what are your parting? Actually, James, what are your parting words?
Hey, man, keep on hunting. That's like my jam right there.
Absolutely. And you, again, guys, follow him. He does take you on a hunt. I've seen you in so many situations, pulling in comic books or talking.
I got a hunt video for you guys tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, I'm dropping that huge epic interview, which I can't say too much about. But, yeah, it's a really big name. Really big. This person is alive. That is your hint.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, your parting words for the week.
Yeah, great show, James. Thank you again for coming on. I really do. I don't say things that I don't mean. So when I say that you are definitely one of my favorite YouTubers out there, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. You could probably understand as a content creator, like I think we get wrapped up so much in the work that we do, it's hard to branch out. So there's so much that, I try to dibble and dabble and show respect, but you got a lot of very unique, fresh stuff. I love your energy. It's a very well-rounded energy that just really should bring people into this hobby for the right reasons, for a multitude of reasons. Your success over the last, year plus is so well-deserved. And, I wish you the best, man. And again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us here.
Hey, that means a lot coming from you, man, because your channel's in my top 5 too. So, look at that.
Thank you.
That's perfect, guys.
All right, and it is a love fest. We didn't give much love to Joe, aka 360 Comics, because he was a semifinalist last week.
Oh, that's right.
And then on top of that, we couldn't find his fresh from the comic shop post. So anyway, sorry, Joe. Anyways, you're going to be going up against Goonish Lurker. But everybody, seriously, be good to you, be good to others, and we will see you next week. Until then, please take care and have a great week. Peace.